broadcast under the eternal auspices of the Departmento Vox-Communicatus. All unauthorized receivers will be sanctified by cleansing flame.
Good evening, citizens of Hive Gloriana. This is your humble host Servitor 241, transmitting once again from the Vox Sanctum, where the lights still flicker and the walls still hum with prayer. If you are hearing this, congratulations. You survived another cycle. The air remains mostly breathable, the water mostly potable, and the faith mostly intact. Today we venerate Saint Ansel the Steadfast, patron of locked doors and those who keep them shut. He once sealed his entire congregation inside their chapel to protect them from doubt. They remained faithful for 17 years until their exhumation. Let us remember, faith thrives in containment. The Departmento Vox-Communicatus is pleased to report that overall loyalty metrics have risen by 3 points since last rotation. Only 12 citizens failed to recite the morning benediction during audit hours. Their absence was noted, and their habs have been repurposed for more faithful residents. Harmony is rising, citizens. You can almost hear it humming. Citizens are reminded it is wrong to body shame your neighbors. However, if their bodies are making it difficult to access your hab, please file a pathway obstruction report at your nearest shrine of sanitation. The faithful will ensure the blockage is redistributed appropriately. Clean corridors are holy corridors. Civic announcements. The Departmento Sanitas reminds all citizens that the strange rash currently spreading through lower sector Gamma is not contagious and not divine. Please do not scratch it. Do not feed it. Apply incense and continue working. Power fluctuations continue across the manufactorums. Several witnesses reported seeing shadows moving behind the generator coils. The official statement is that there are no shadows. Any motion perceived by the human eye is merely the Emperor testing your focus. Also, a gentle reminder from the Office of Devotional Hygiene. If your co-worker begins humming a tune you do not recognize, do not hum along. That is not a hymn. The memorial pits will be open for visitation between 3rd and 4th bells. Please refrain from feeding the memorials or asking questions about their movement. The past should remain buried, even when it refuses to be. All bodies obstructing major causeways should now be stacked neatly against designated bulkheads. Disorderly corpses may be fined, re-educated, or recycled at the discretion of the Department of Civic Renewal. And remember, tidiness is next to godliness, and godliness is compulsory. Machine Sentience Temperament reports. The animus machine of the Central Transit Rail remains melancholic. 3 techno-theurges have attempted appeasement through sacred oil and recitation of the 4th benediction. The rail accepted 2 sacrifices. Transit times between sectors Epsilon and Omicron will therefore be increased by 6 hours. Please be patient. The machine mourns in its own way. Community news. Productivity in the mining districts has increased by 17%. The cause has not yet been determined, but the miners are reportedly feeling united, closer than ever, part of something greater. The overseer described it as a blessing of unity. We wish them continued efficiency in his name. Meanwhile, the lower habs continue to experience structural instability. Residents report hearing heartbeat-like vibrations through the floor grates at night. Authorities have confirmed this is simply the reactor's rhythm, beating as it has for centuries. It is normal for machinery to dream occasionally. Lastly, the Chamber of Faithful Labourers is holding a community outreach tomorrow night in the abandoned Chapel of Digestive Mercy. Attendance is mandatory, but enlightenment is voluntary. Bring your family, your devotion, and any sharp implements you may find lying around. The number of reported disappearances has dropped considerably. This is excellent progress. The department reminds citizens that failing to notice your neighbour's absence is the highest form of loyalty. Public confessions.
Forgive me, Father. The dreams came again. We were together. I was not myself. We were many. We were one. It was beautiful.
Forgive me. I saw light beneath the hive. Not the Emperor's light. A warmer one. It touched my mind and said my name wrong.
I say my bedtime prayers to the wall, and now the walls whisper them back, but they change some of the words. Yesterday, the walls told me the prayer for sleep wasn't working, because I still had bones. They said they could fix that if I was quiet and didn't tell anyone. I think they've already fixed my sister. Her side of the room doesn't snore anymore, just hums.
To any listeners who hear similar hymn-like structural noises, please remember, report them to your local maintenance officiate before attempting conversation. The department reminds all citizens that unsanctioned communion with load-bearing entities is grounds for commendation or correction, depending on structural stability. Now, let us take a moment of silence for family unity. Although slightly shorter this week, I imagine. Maintenance and devotion. The reactor priests report that the machine sentience of Hive Gloriana's core has begun dreaming again. Its pulse can be heard across several sectors. Slow. Patient. Do not be alarmed. Dreaming is not a sin. Not for machines, anyway. To aid in the reactor's calm, all citizens are asked to chant the Litany of Forgiveness during work hours. If you don't know the words, hum. The sound itself pleases it. Missing Persons Report. The following citizens are missing and presumed embraced by the Emperor's will. Supervisor Calix Wren, last seen smiling at something no one else could see. 37 workers from Ventilation Subblock 19, who apparently followed the hum. Sister Ballora of the Ministorum Choir, who left behind a note that reads simply, "He is coming, and he is beautiful." If you find any of these individuals, please do not attempt contact. Instead, close your eyes and whisper the Imperial Creed. If they whisper it back, congratulations. You are safe. Special Ecclesiarchal Address.
Brothers and sisters, remember that change is heresy, unless ordained by him in the highest spire. So if you feel change inside you, remember, the flesh bends to faith or to sin. Choose wisely which voice you follow when you kneel.
Beautiful words. She spoke them before she was taken ill. The replacement preacher has not yet arrived, although a heavy-set bald man in ornate robes has begun visiting the chapel to help. His sermons are soothing. Unorthodox, perhaps, but very soothing. Today's mantra. Suspicion is the glue that binds today's society. If you hear something suspicious, report it. If you see something suspicious, report it. If you are something suspicious, confess immediately for priority absolution. Faith report. Faith levels remain adequate, though trending towards fervent unity. Unapproved icons have begun appearing on hab walls, depicting a radiant figure with many arms raised in benediction. Authorities assure us that this is simply anatomical overzeal. If you see these images, report them to your confessor. Do not, under any circumstances, feel comforted by them. Devotional reading from the Testimonies of the Devoured Saint, verses 44 to 47. I saw the shape beneath the city and called it mercy. It had many mouths and one purpose. And lo, the faithful shall one day see the shape beneath the city, vast and patient, breathing in the dust of our devotion. Fear not its mouths, for each is only hunger given purpose. Think not of this as death, it is the last efficiency. Mercy with many mouths, that's inspiring. And efficient. It's good to know someone is hungry down there. It keeps the population figures manageable. And if you do see a shape beneath the city, citizens, please remember to fill out Form 44 Gamma, Encounters of a Theological Nature. Submissions missing the estimated number of mouths field will be returned for correction. Weather report. Heavy mists will rise from the underhive tonight, carrying warmth and spores of renewal. The upper spires can expect fine ashfall mingled with what authorities are calling new life. It glows faintly, so visibility will actually improve. Rejoice. Temperatures remain stable. Everything remains stable. Everything remains connected. And that concludes tonight's broadcast, citizens of Gloriana. Remember to pray before sleep. Remember to dream of unity. And remember, even in the deepest dark, the Emperor loves you. And so do we. Until next cycle, stay close, stay faithful, stay together. Ave Imperator.
Host Servitor 241 was played by Richard Roberts. The Priest was played by Laura Sophie Helbig. This week's Penitents were Ivy Rack, Phillip Roy, and Cornelia Sunding. Vox Sanctum Gloriana is an Evil Lighthouse production.